just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. We are located in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's North Alabama. But if you want to watch us nationwide, all you got to do is get one of those sticks. Amazon Fire, you can watch us that way. Apple TV, and also you can find us on Roku. So we've got the Roku stick. And I love watching television this way. It's cheaper, by the way, and you can still see local stuff that, a lot of missionaries are watching the show because they get to find, what's going on at home. What's going on home. And so that's why we're glad to bring it to you that way. And we definitely appreciate you listening to us. Absolutely. Find out what it's like here in the South. You just never know what's going to be on this show. I've got a very dear friend with me, and she is from the Fort Payne Chamber of Commerce. Her name is Jennifer McCurdy. And I love having this girl on the show. And what I really love about Jennifer, I love that attitude you got, girl. It's a winning attitude.
The no nonsense attitude, right?
Absolutely. Don't mess with Jennifer.
I did have a friend tell me that I've always been pretty blunt this over the weekend. She said, and as you are getting older, it might be getting out of control. Like you have a little truth about yourself.
Nah, you're perfect. You're just like this. But I wanted to say something to our listeners who are listening nationwide. If you are watching this show right now, and let's say you're in a California, or you're in a state where the taxes are extremely high, and what am I going to do? I can't make a profit. Think about moving to Alabama, especially the North Alabama area, DeKalb County especially. And Jennifer, there's a number of reasons why you would like to have a business in Alabama, right?
Yes, there is. I mean, you just mentioned some cost of living. It's beautiful here. We saw a girl a couple weekends ago that when we were down in the Fairhope area, but she was from up north, and she said she had an opportunity to come to Alabama to work, and she was like, never thought of Alabama as a place to work, but she said, I came, and Alabama is a hidden gem. Very unexpected. I think we have a reputation that maybe isn't accurate. We're a lot more than what people perceive us to be. And the beauty here, we have falls, hiking, biking, restaurants, whatever you want. And it's very an outdoorsman's dream, I would say. But also we're close to Birmingham, Chattanooga. So it's Birmingham, Alabama, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Huntsville, Alabama. We are within an hour-ish or so of most of those places. So it's an easy drive.
And even Atlanta. I mean, you're not
Atlanta, yes. I mean, we're in an ideal location. And we have loft apartments going up in downtown Fort Payne. We have some above the chamber, as you know, but that we rent out corporately. But we have more coming, and some that are already here for people who want to and can work remotely. Just why would you not want to pay less, have the outdoor experience, and be able to travel, have more money to travel, and just work remotely here in Fort Payne or DeKalb County? Yeah, it's lots of great things here in our area.
Well, and also I wanted to mention the school system. You're not going to have a better school system than this one. And this is what's really cool about your kids being in DeKalb County schools is all the teachers know your mama. And what they'll do, you show out, and that teacher is going to let your mama know about it. And then you're going to be in trouble twice with the teacher.
That's right.
And your mama. So we raise them good here. I'm telling you.
We do. But, a lot of people aren't having children. They're just have their animals and are good with that. So we're very, bring your dogs, walk around. There's things to do, too, for those who do not have children. But definitely a very child-friendly area and a great place to raise children. I'm raising my children here, and I love it. So
I do too. And you've got to talk about the low crime rate too, because we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I miss all my friends in Charlotte, North Carolina. We happened to be in a real good area. That's why it was so easy for us to sell our house. There was no crime. However, in some parts of Charlotte, North Carolina, you don't want to be out there in the daytime, let alone at night. And so you got to pick and choose where you go. And here it's pretty much, well, just don't go fishing in somebody's pond. I mean, without asking, don't do that. We've had to run some folks off here.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, you got to ask permission. So little certain things that you
And there's always, and I realized this recently, we had to detour a little bit for an accident that had happened on the road. And I had gone down a road I hadn't been down before. And I was like, well, I didn't know this was even, and the land was beautiful. And there's always hidden gems, even when you've lived here all your life. So a lots and plenty to see. And just the scenery is gorgeous here.
Now,
Yeah.
Fort Payne is growing, so there's more businesses coming in. I know some you can't tell me about because it's in the plan, it's working on, but you do have quite a few coming in.
Yes, I think we'll see some growth over the next several years, for sure. I know Mayor Brian Payne does a great job in relationship building with potential or prospective businesses. So he's in our EDA office does a great job. And of course, we all work together to try to make that happen. And have it takes time. I mean, people are like, why don't we have this? Well, it just takes time developing relationships and finding the right place. And incentives are huge too. Every community has to offer businesses incentives, so you have to get to that point where it's the right time. Everything has to mesh.
It's got to be timing.
Mm-hmm,
we lived in Oxford I grew up in Oxford, moved to Geraldine when I was in the 9th grade. And so Mayor Leon Smith, he passed away a few years ago, so God rest his soul. But he was a good mayor. But we were all confused with one of the decisions he made. He was on the bandwagon for the Honda company coming to Lincoln County. And we were like, huh? We were just like, why not Oxford? Why not? Well, he knew the potential of other businesses spinning off as suppliers to the Honda company.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that because he had the forethought to think about that. And I'm going to tell you, we even have businesses up in this neck of the woods who are suppliers. You got your RTI.
Yes.
Which is in Rainsville. And then also, I know there's a plant also in Boaz, who's a huge supplier also to the Honda company. So you have to think about it this way. There may be a big company come into Huntsville, Birmingham, or whatever.
Yes.
We're going to have spin-off businesses come out of it. And you can't go wrong there.
No, and that's, Huntsville's growing. We're not far from Huntsville. So there is potential, lots of potential for some growth. And if you're looking to invest in community development, by that I mean things within the community for people to do, not just industries, talk to us. There's a lot of people that have money, they want to invest in a community to make it better. And it would be, sometimes it takes a person most of the time in the community who isn't looking for a quick return on their investment. They care about their community, they want to see it grow. A lot of people complain in every community, we need this or we need that. Well, that's when you have to look for your local investors to kind of pull together and make it happen. I mean, if it's something that important to you, then how can you contribute? Let's pull together, invest in our communities. And a lot of times that brings even more growth, just small things, small investments within the community. And people think a lot of times the city can do all of it, Well, no, investors come in and do things, activities for children and things like that. That's not usually done by the city. Now, the city can offer some incentives based on how many people they're going to employ, kind of looking at the financial performance and stuff. But usually it comes right back down to our community or people within our community. We have a lot of good people in our community. We need you to step up and invest in your community.
Well, let's talk about other ways you can invest. A lot of folks say, well, I don't have $100,000 to give the city, or I don't have whatever. But you can invest other ways, and part of that is by keeping it clean.
Yes, yeah, 100%. That's a pet peeve of mine as well. Civic groups. I mean, if you're a part of a civic group, we encourage that group to, rally. Maybe it's once a quarter, y'all choose an area in the county and you are responsible for cleaning that area up. Mm-hmm. Or maybe your church group, or maybe anybody, or it's your neighborhood. Just, hey, look, our neighborhood needs a good cleanup. Let's get together and clean our neighborhood up together and keep it clean. Let's make a commitment to do that. People that come here, and that's in every community. I mean, I have never been anywhere where there wasn't some litter or some, that wasn't an issue. So, but we can take ownership of that and maybe set ourselves apart by not having so much litter and trash. So it just encouraging our neighbors too to keep their yards clean in a nice way. And how do you do that though? Hey, your yard looks terrible. Do you I mean, how would you do that,
Well,
Donna?
here's what I do. I would just say, I know we're all busy working. Why don't we work together? I'll help you in your yard one day. You help me in mine. And we can get it done a lot faster that way.
Oh gosh, Donna, that's smart, but Lord, whew. Look, I would say we do my yard first.
Absolutely. But there's something about working together and banding together. You can get so many things.
Oh,
So much.
yes, just being creative and working together. Absolutely. I do want to talk about some chamber events, upcoming events. Can I do that?
Oh yeah. I'm always excited about those events.
Well, once a month we have our JSU Small Business Development Center here meeting 101 with potential businesses or businesses that are maybe looking to grow. It's free. It's 101 free information, and they help you with your business plans, anything you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's once a month, and everything's on our website. So that's fortpaynechamber.com. We are going to usually have an annual banquet, but this year we're having a member appreciation lunch, and that's going to be August 26th at the Rotary Pavilion in Fort Payne. But we do need you to sign up and let us know you'll be coming. So we have entertainment, Chasing Payne, and we'll have door prizes, and every chamber member will walk away with, we've got umbrellas that have the chamber logo on them. So that'll be for our chamber members. And of course, we'll provide lunch. Sally's Barbecue is going to do our lunch for us, and just entertainment, fellowship, networking, and a thank you to our chamber members. We also have this Thursday at from 4:30. So Thursday, what's this Thursday?
The 4th.
August 4th. From 4:30 to 5, we have business after hours at the Depot Museum here in Fort Payne. To me, the most beautiful building in DeKalb County. I love it. It is gorgeous. We'll have tours, refreshments, lots of good information about the Depot Museum, and just good networking and fun. I'm trying to think of it. We have our Mayor's Cup coming up on August 12th. And that's always a fun day. Lots of our industries, that's one of our biggest fundraisers. And this year, part of the proceeds will be going toward the Scott Bateman Memorial Scholarship. So every year we give a senior from Fort Payne High School a scholarship in Scott's honor. So that's something we've done differently this year for that. I think that's all right now we have coming up. We have some things scheduled in September and October, but we'll give you more information about that later. That's a little far out.
As it happens. I wanted to say something about Mayor Brian Payne.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since I have known him, if there's a fundraiser, he's been part of it. I mean, he's all into that. And
he loves it. He is very community minded. He was there this Marked for Life Ministries this past Saturday. We're handing out backpacks and doing free haircut stuff for children going back to school. And of course, Brian's right in the middle of it because that's his passion. I mean, he has a servant's heart. So he was right there helping shoulder to shoulder with them. And Marked for Life Ministries, if you aren't familiar with that, I would encourage you to research that. It's Logan LeGrand does a great job. He's the executive director, and Kelly Gardner is his person. She is awesome. We recognized her last year at our Women in Business for her community leadership. She's also has a servant's heart and is right there giving of all her free time is given to her right back to her community and people who need her. And we appreciate that. They do a fantastic job.
let's talk about shopping. Okay. Let's talk about folks who run a business, retail business. Doesn't matter if it's a small one or a large one, because what happens is we have shoppers who come into our areas, into our various areas, and they watch that too, to say, well, let's see, do I want to start a business there? So we need to really be on our best toes.
Yes.
So when a customer comes in, I don't think we have this to worry about, but always be open and friendly. And this is something that you and I have discussed before. I know people that maybe just didn't really care that much for the job they were in at that point. And they were basically using it as a stepping stone to go to another job, but you never know who you're going to run into. So
Yes.
even if you're having a rotten day, you need to put that best face on. I mean, smile, because you never know who's going to walk in that door that could be your next employer.
You're right. And, you know, even that's one thing with smaller towns too. They talk. So if you are a disgruntled employee, it's going to be a little bit harder to find a job elsewhere when you're ready to do so. But yes, I do think our local businesses, because they're small, they're able to, I guess, have more discernment in who they hire and train them a little the way they'd like to. And we are the South, so most of the time, most of our people are super friendly and welcoming and helpful. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And small businesses, it's kind of in the same vein as what you were talking about, but small businesses, people take a risk doing that. That's not an easy job for them. And so anybody who opens a restaurant, especially a restaurant, that's a hard job. I mean, you have to really love what you're doing to be a restaurant owner. And then retail as well. That's their income, you know, and it's hard. It's hard work. It's not, I know you think I can set my own schedule, whatever, but really it's not. It's a 24/7. And even if you're not there, you're there in your mind. You're doing something. You're worrying about inventory. You're worrying about staffing. Something's always happening. So to those who take that leap of faith and are successful, thank you. Communities, small businesses are the backbone of our community, every community. And so we appreciate that, taking those chances and providing services to keep our people shopping local and tax money coming back into our community. Thank you.
And that's another thing. You need to spend money in your own community. Don't fuss if roads are not fixed. Don't fuss if things are not done if you're going elsewhere.
I know. That's right. And sometimes we have to if we don't have what we need here, obviously. But for the most part, I think our community does pretty good about shopping local. And it's easy just to convenience wise. I mean, a lot of times you might need something faster than you can get it online. So you need to, you know, that's when you have to say, I need to shop more often locally, because not just when I'm in a pinch, because we want to keep these businesses here so that when I am in a pinch, I can just zip on down. And that's the same with healthcare. I mean, I say this often too, you know, in a small town, you hear, because you're a small town, the negatives about if you have a bad experience at the hospital, for instance, more than you would if you lived in a big town. They have the same issues in larger hospitals, if not more than what we have in a smaller hospital. You don't hear about those because you're not in that community, you know. So if we didn't have a hospital in our community, where would we be? I mean, that would be terrible. We are blessed to have a hospital in our community. Nobody's perfect. You're going to have a bad experience no matter where you go, because there's so many people that work in those healthcare facilities. You can't expect every single one of them to be just a shining star. It's just unrealistic to think that. So, you know, we just really need to appreciate what we do have and try to realize that nobody's perfect, not even us. And we just got to make sure and support what we can locally.
I agree with that. You know, we've had an episode with Mother. Mother failed twice. So I'm having to jump hurdles and run my business a different way because we're caretakers, Phil and I are. But when we went to the hospital, I'm going to tell you, I don't care what hospital it is. You never think they're fast enough when it's your family member.
You know, and it's terrible hospitals. Nobody goes in there feeling great. You're obviously in there because you feel bad.
The reason, yeah.
Right. So you're going to, and I always hated those surveys. I didn't think they were fair to the hospital, because if you're in pain, you're not thinking logically. Everything's bad because you're, like you said, it's never fast enough and it's never good enough. And you're always going to see something you didn't like. And it's just, it's not, I don't think it's fair to judge, well, you know, to judge hospitals so cruelly on.
I don't either. Because I'm going to tell you what, when I had COVID, Phil was telling me what an unruly patient I was. He said, you know what? You're not the best patient on earth.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be petted. I didn't want to be pampered. I just want to be left alone. You know, that's just my personality. It's the way I was. And I would have probably been unruly if I had to go to the hospital. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I know, but I mean, everybody is in the hospital. Who wants to be there? That's my point. Like, you don't want to be
Me.
there. So you're angry and you're just mad.
We're mad at the world, but I wanted to say this. The folks who work in the hospital, they're your neighbors and everything, and they're going to remember if you were nasty when you went inside. So we've all
Well, hey, let's think about this. They employ probably, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 people in our community.
Yeah.
And that's money going back into our community. They work here, they go eat lunch out in the community, they shop in our community. So what if that went away? You know, and think of that with any large employer. That's a huge impact on the community. Hurt. Yeah, it would hurt.
I like knowing that we've got the hospital in the community. I mean, that's pretty awesome, I think.
Oh, yeah, we have a lot of good services within the hospital that a lot of rural areas do not have, which is awesome. So, I mean, you know, you can't probably use them for everything, but what you can, try to, you know.
Well, our doctor's office we have right here in Geraldine was pretty good. When I had COVID, I said, no, I don't want to be put in the hospital. You know, right. I want to be at home so I can set up and I can do my, you know, whatever work I need to do. And she said, you have COVID, you're probably not going to feel like doing anything. And so she gave me this infusion, which helped me get out of it. So I wanted to say our local doctor's offices, which are also a spring from the hospital, by the way.
Yes. That's another thing. Like, would they even be here if there wasn't a hospital in our community? So
right. We wouldn't have the doctor's offices either.
Right.
So
think about that too.
I think that's pretty cool. We've got to about 6.5 minutes left in this segment. And I know there are other fantastic things we want to talk about. We talked about schools. We talk about, you know, we need to keep the area clean. And that's one thing you'll hear Brian Payne say. You know, he's pretty easygoing kind of a guy, positive and all this. But if you want to get him started, talk about cleaning the place up. Then he'll really start talking. But let's talk to companies who are listening to us right now, and they're listening to us on Abundant TV, and they have a business that is actually, you know, in New York or in California, and they're paying an ungodly amount of taxes to be in those two states. And they're thinking about opening up another business, and they're looking at us in Alabama.
Right.
And they got to come here. First, you're going to get everything we've already said. You're going to get great employees. And I'm telling you what, businesses love their employees to have a balance. They don't want them to be at nose to the grindstone the entire time they're there. They want them to have a little bit of freedom, you know, get out and look at the beautiful outdoors and that kind of thing. And you can do that here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And like we talked about, I mean, too, we're right on the interstate. Let me just throw that out there. I mean, we're super convenient. We have a rail system that runs through Fort Payne. And so that's important to a lot of industries and businesses. We have land, plenty of land for building.
A great price, by the way.
Yes.
Great price.
So our Economic Development Authority is awesome. They work closely with those who are interested. So if you're interested in a business interested in coming, an industry, our DeKalb County Economic Development Authority would be more than happy to sit down and talk you through it and show you the options and go over incentive packages and things like that with you.
And also training that we have here. We've got Northeast Alabama Community College, which is just top notch. And you can get a certificate with them, not have the college debt. And I mean, you know what, Jennifer, if I were in the 12th grade right now, I'd be holding down 2 of those high paying jobs. Now, I'd still with my parents a little bit, you know, I'd live with them. But as soon as I got enough money, I'd be buying my own house, my own car, my own truck, my own SUV, my own whatever.
Listen, you're the only one that thinks that way right now. You know? I know my mother had said, well, my daughter needs to take extra classes or something so she can graduate earlier. I don't know, just kind of, and I said, I don't want her to. I want her to enjoy her high school years, taking high school classes, and then make the most out of it. I mean, whatever she decides to do after that, I want her to, she's got plenty of time, in my opinion, to work and to just be an adult, you know, and I'm not trying to keep her a kid forever. She's very mature and she does great, but some people, children, want to do that. I have they want to finish.
I would have done that. I would have.
A friend of mine did. son did. He graduated with his associate's degree from Northeast and from high school the same time. And so he's going to Auburn as a junior. He is going into Auburn as a junior this year.
Wow.
So, and he's fine with that. He can't wait to finish college and start working and making money. And that's always been his goal, is to make as much money as possible.
You do that so you can retire hopefully earlier.
I know.
Now let's talk about, we have about just under 3 minutes left.
Okay.
Let's talk about a great place for retirees as well.
Oh, yes.
You've been up north where all that snow and ice is. Come down here.
We have 4 seasons. Yes, we will get a little snow usually, just enough to be excited about. And then the summer,
I'm done. Next.
we have fall. The colors here are beautiful in the fall, and our spring times are gorgeous. Yeah, 4 great seasons, and yeah, and the cost. Like we have people stop by the chamber a lot. They'll say, "We came through visiting, and we're going to buy a house here. The cost of living is so much better." I mean, they might be coming from Florida. They come from different places. It's just the quality of life here is great, and then the cost of living is the cherry on the top. So,
well, I knew some people in California who had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick ranch house in California. Of course, it's $1 million in California.
yes.
So they come here and paid cash and had a lot of money left over that they were spending in the community.
100%. Think of that. The people that move here are going to spend their money in our community, and we're going to reap the benefits of that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Less than a minute.
Okay.
What would you like to say to the folks before you go?
Well, just keep up with us at the Chamber of Commerce, and that's our phone number is 256-845-2741, and then website's fortpaynechamber.com. That's where you can find, and you can follow us on social media, Instagram, and as well as Facebook. And just keep up with us. And we have a YouTube channel, fortpaynechamber.com or Fort Payne Chamber, and we're starting to spotlight some of our local businesses on that. So keep up with that, and let us know if we can help in any way. We appreciate all our community support.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you what, the mayor right here loves you guys too.
Oh yeah, we love him. We work well together, which is also super important to be able to have that partnership between the chamber and the city, and we do.
Absolutely. Jennifer McCurdy with us. Jennifer, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. I always look forward to having you on.
I enjoy it. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate
Absolutely. It's the fastest 30 minutes of your life.
it. It is. It really is. It goes by fast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And go ahead and check out downtown Fort Payne. You're going to love it. They've got some awesome shops out there. And I wanted to mention one more thing before we go, less than 30 seconds, is when you buy something for one of the small businesses down there, you don't have to worry about if it's for a birthday present or a Christmas present, Mother's Day or whatever. You don't have to worry about the rest of the family getting the same thing. It's not assembly style kind of thing, so they have all unique things. But Jennifer, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get ready for a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes.
I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other